We need to have a quick look back at history. Now, as early as 1941, Germany realized it was losing the production battle, i.e. they were getting outnumbered on the battlefield. To overcome this, they decided to opt for two things: firepower and protection, meaning less tanks, but with better guns and better armor. In August 1942, the German Army Weapons Agency submitted its requirements for a heavy tank that would replace the Tiger I, whose production had been launched shortly before. The new vehicle was to have an 88mm gun, developed by Krupp in 1941. It was one of those rare cases when the tank was designed for a specific gun and not the gun for the tank. In autumn 1942, Henschel and Ferdinand Porsche's Design Bureau started development on the tank's design. Just as with Tiger I, this turned into a contest between Porsche and Henschel. The key disadvantages of Porsche's project were the low reliability of the electric transmission, high price, and low production efficiency. Henschel's project, named VK4503H, could meet the military's requirements a lot better. The new heavy tank was designated as Panzerkampfwagen 6 Ausführung B, and then renamed to Tiger Ausführung B, or Tiger II. The informal name Königstiger, meaning King Tiger, was used very rarely by the Wehrmacht. However, it was the most commonly used name amongst the Allies. Tiger II had a front transmission, so its layout was very similar to all German tanks of World War II. However, unlike the square hull of the Tiger I, it borrowed its shape and proportions more so from the Panther. It was made of rolled armoured plates connected with mortise and tenon joints and welded using austenite electrodes. There were 6 types of plates, from 25 to 150mm thick. The 150mm front armour was placed at a vertical angle of 50 degrees, and the 80mm side armour at 25 degrees. The new Tiger featured thicker armour. However, Soviet experts noticed that its quality reduced sharply as compared to the Panther and the Tiger I. This was due to a drop in steel quality. The upper frontal armour was solid, with just a porthole for the bow machine gun ball mount. Observation devices for the driver and radio operator, bow gunner, were mounted on the front part of the hull roof and protected by U-shaped brackets. In addition, the front part of the hull roof had hatches for the driver and radio operator. The hull's rear part had 3 compartments divided by watertight walls. The external 2 could be filled with water when the tank was deep wading. The central compartment contained the engine and was waterproof. Outside, the hull and turret were covered with an anti-magnetic Zimmerit coating and camouflaged. The interior of the tank was painted yellow. Tiger II featured 2 types of turret, one designed by Porsche and one designed by Henschel. Now, Porsche was so confident that he would win the design that he went ahead and manufactured 50 turrets in advance. Now, these turrets were put to good use. However, on the 51st tank, his design was dropped in favour of Henschel's. This particular turret is of the Henschel design. The turret was turned by a hydraulic mechanism borrowed from the Tiger Ausführung E. In the manual mode, to make a full rotation of the turret, the gunner had to make 700 turns of the handwheel. The tank's primary armament was the 88mm KWK-43 gun. The barrel length was 71 calibers, or 6,298mm. The muzzle velocity of an armoured-piercing shell was 1,000 meters per second. It was one of the best tank guns of World War II. A shell fired from this gun could penetrate 215mm of armour at a range of 1.5 kilometers. For Central Europe, the point-blank range is considered to be limited to 1,800 meters. At this distance, the Tiger II could penetrate the gun magnet of the IS-2, and this powerful Soviet tank could do nothing in response. In fact, the same gun had also been fitted to a pair of tank destroyers, the Ferdinand and the Nashorn. The Tiger II fired an 88mm caliber shell, the same as the Tiger I, but the ammunition was very different. It was much longer and wider. Let's now jump inside and have a 360 look. So here we are now inside the turret, and there was actually 5 people in total on the crew of Tiger II, however, only 3 located inside the turret. First position we're looking at, I'm stood at the moment in the commander's position. There is a seat here, but I'm actually stood on the turret floor. All the way above me, we've got episcopes. We've got 7 episcopes in total all the way around, which gave the commander a very good, actually, unobstructed view of 360 degrees. Just to the left of the commander, we've also got a little hand wheel there, which we rotate and actually closes the commander's cupola. Directly in front of the commander, we've got the gunner sat in his position there. Optical sight directly in front of him, and also directly between his legs, he's got a traverse hand wheel, and just to the right, an elevation hand wheel. So Tiger II, it could be traversed and elevated manually. There was power traverse actually on Tiger II. The engine had to be running for it to do power traverse, but it was pretty good. It could do 360-degree traverse under power in around about 19 seconds, which is pretty good going. However, the majority of the turret, although there's quite a lot of room, is taken up by the massive breach of the 88. So let's pop across now and have a look at the loader's position. I've now moved across to the loader's position, always my favourite position in any tank, because it actually means you've got a bit more room than any other of the crew positions. However, of course, the 88mm gun, the rounds were big, almost 1 metre in length and weighing up to around about 18 kilos, so not easy to manhandle within the turret. Whilst we're talking about ammunition, directly behind the loader there, we can see that we've got ready round ammunition racks. 22 rounds could actually be stored in here, and the tank could carry in total 86 rounds. If we look past those racks, you can also see the escape hatch. As the name suggests, it just was a means where the crew could actually, in an emergency, get out from the vehicle rather than going up and exposing themselves to enemy fire. Some of the things also on the loader side there, directly in front of the loader, we've got a traverse hand wheel, so the loader can actually manually help the gunner actually traverse the turret left and right. And also, as far as vision is concerned, again, like most armoured vehicles, not a lot of vision ability for the loader. He's just got one periscope or episcope directly in front of him. That's it really for the loader's side. And what we're going to do now is actually drop down into the front and have a look more closely at the driver's compartment. So we've now moved right to the front of the vehicle and we're sat at the moment in the driver's compartment. The last two crew positions on the vehicle, and just to the right of the driver, we would find the bow gunner stroke radio operator. But back to the driver's compartment, let's have a closer look around. The seat I'm sat on at the moment are two positions. At the moment, I'm sat in the fully closed down position. All that means is that, of course, the poor old driver would have to drive using the vision block directly in front of him, so not a great field of view. The higher position means that he can have his head outside of the turret, so a much better field of view and a lot easier to drive, even today on today's main battle tanks. Because of these positions of the seats, they've actually got two accelerator pedals as well. So you've got a lower accelerator pedal directly in front of the driver, so when he was fully closed down, and also when he's fully closed up, he's got a higher accelerator pedal as well. Taking pride of place really in the driver's compartment, right in front of me, we've got this quadrant steering wheel. Fully adjustable, much like today's modern cars as well, so you can adjust it for comfort and ease of handling there. Now, Tiger II was power-assisted steering. However, if this did fail, we also had two tillers, like you'd see on more conventional tanks, to actually aid in steering there. And we've also got a handbrake to the left-hand side. Across to the right, we can see a very, very simple instrument panel, not a lot to be found on there. And we've also got a gear selector. Tiger II had 8 forward gears and 4 reverse gears. That's about it really for the driver's compartment. What we've all been waiting for, to be honest, is to see how the old girl actually performs. So let's get her started up and take her for a run. Tiger II was powered by the Maybach HL230 P30 4-stroke V12 engine, and this produced 700 horsepower. It was exactly the same engine that was installed on the Panther. It consumed gasoline with an octane rating of 74 or higher. The Tiger II 7 fuel tanks had a capacity of 860 litres. Now, the manual stated that this was enough to travel 120 kilometres. However, in reality, it could only cover 90. To put this in perspective, this massive fuel consumption is around 20 times more than your average car. The tank's running gear on each side consisted of 9 solid metal double road wheels with internal shock absorbers. These were arranged in 2 interleaved rows. 5 wheels in the external row and 4 in the internal one. The Tiger II had an independent single-shaft torsion bar suspension. This suspension provided smooth and even movement. It was an excellent solution for a tank whose trump card was sniper fire at long ranges. But its maintenance and repair was so difficult that the Tiger II became the last tank to feature this type of suspension. Royal Tigers were fielded to heavy tank battalions as a replacement for the Tiger I. So how did it perform in battle? On the Western Front, the first combat unit equipped with King Tigers was the 503rd Heavy Tank Battalion. Because of production delays, the battalion received only 12 Tiger IIs, while the rest of its 33 tanks were Tiger Is. On June the 27th, 1944, the battalion moved to the front line. On July the 7th, it arrived in Drove. In the very first battle, the battalion managed to destroy 12 Sherman tanks. On the Eastern Front, the Tiger II was first used in combat on August 13, 1944. During an attack on the Sandomierz bridgehead near Staszów, Poland, the Royal Tigers within the 501st Heavy Tank Battalion were ambushed by the Soviet 53rd Guards Tank Brigade. This was augmented with some artillery and tank units. During August the 13th and 14th, 12 Tiger II tanks were knocked out, burnt, or left by their crews. 3 tanks were captured by the Soviet troops in perfect condition. As the situation got worse for Germany, the Tiger IIs were often used in small